Nyan-lung, the valley of the Argali.
The Sabha Valley in Ladakh is an important wintering ground for the Tibetan Argali and local livestock alike. 13 herders collectively use this space, sharing the land with the Argali, a large mountain ram native to the Himalayas. Interestingly, for each herder, grazing space is allocated depending on the results of a random chit picking system. This way, there is no favoritism, nor is there a monopoly. Generally, Sabha Valley is a difficult place to survey as we have to travel in the winter and camp for a few days with the herders. The temperature goes below -20 degrees sometimes. Our toothpaste, oil, and sometimes even sleeping bags freeze. But regardless, the double observer survey exercise in the Sabha Valley is a very interesting one to undertake. During the survey of 2019, it snowed a lot more than previous years. Additionally, we were short on field staff. It was important to use the help of locals in ensuring the survey was conducted. We have been working in Sabha Valley for more than 5 years now, monitoring the winter Argali population. Each year, we train interested locals and herders in conducting the surveys. We were lucky to have 4 people from a nearby village ready to work with us. They had experiences from the previous years and also a deep interest in wildlife. Our team had a mix of ages and gender. Diversity makes a team strong. We packed our tents, food, and equipment and went off to survey in late February 2019. We all met at Rumsta village, which is the doorway to the Sabha Valley. Due to the heavy snowfall, we couldn't take a vehicle to the valley. The river was frozen and the slopes were heavy with snow. We had to trek for an entire day to reach our campsite, where 2 local herders were stationed. They lived in a traditional tent called a ribo, which is made of yak wool. Each herder grazed around 300 to 400 sheep and goats in this region. Our old friend Achotashi Funsto greeted us with his usual welcoming smile. As the evening turned into night, our tired legs were soothed by a warm cup of fresh tea made by Achotashi, who returned from a day of grazing in the pasture. As we were cooking dinner together, we discussed the upcoming survey with Ashotashi and his team. As the herders use this valley during the same time as the Argalis, they are a key source of information about the presence of these large wild sheep in the remote valley. For the next day's survey, we split into 3 teams consisting 2 observers each and surveyed 3 adjacent valleys. As we were walking to our respective survey valleys, rather unexpectedly, we saw a lot of Argalis along the way. Not only that, but we were greeted with an amazing sight of 2 Himalayan wolves as well. What was especially interesting was the fact that there was a kiang, or the Tibetan wild ass, grazing with the Argali herd. Did the heavy snow disorient this majestic beast? We could only speculate. A particular valley within Sabha named Nyan-lung is known to be the best Argali habitat in this part of the Himalayas. In fact, we have regularly for the past 5 years been sighting these beautiful creatures there. However, in 2019, we found very few Argalis. The herders suggested that heavy autumn snowfall rendered the pastures inaccessible, further exacerbated by heavy winter snowfall. Perhaps this pushed the Argalis to go further down the valley. As we met each herder family, we gifted them a torch with extra batteries as a token of appreciation for hosting us and also providing us with valuable information. Though to a city-dwelling person, a torch or flashlight may seem insignificant, to the herders of Tsaba, a torch's light is the only source of visibility in the dark of the night. Additionally, we gave each herder a Tibetan calendar, telling them that whenever they see a group of Argali, they should record and subsequently share that information with us. The first day of the survey went very well. We saw well over 100 Argalis, the highest number we have ever seen on a single day. We went to bed extremely satisfied and excited for the next day. I must say though, the cold tried to spoil our spirits. I couldn't feel my toes and fingers, but the curiosity and excitement of the possibilities of tomorrow calmed me down, and I went to sleep. On the next day, after 3 hours of uphill climbing, we finally reached a ridgeline that allowed us to scan the valley floor well. The snow soaked my shoes and socks, and my eyes burned due to the sun's reflection against the white snow. As we rested and sipped some warm tea on top, I saw a circling raptor. I put my binoculars to my eyes to see what it was, and rather unexpectedly, through the corner of my eye, I saw a strange looking rock. As I diverted my gaze to check what it was, I was stunned to find the reality. Behind a caragana bush sat the majestic ghost of the mountains, the snow leopard. I nudged Acho Yanjor, my second observer, but Acho had seen nothing else. A few 100 meters below, there was a fresh carcass of a big male blue sheep. No wonder the snow leopard was around. We sat for a long time observing the predator. Finally, the snow leopard walked down to the carcass and ate till it was satisfied. Our survey route was meant to run through the area where the carcass was. However, to avoid disturbing the animals, we took a detour and made sure we remained inconspicuous amongst the rugged rocks. It is always a thrill to see creatures like the snow leopard, but it is important to ensure that we do not disturb wildlife. Places like the Tsava Valley are their last home. As we continued surveying, we found an impressive group of big male Argalis. This was truly the icing on the cake. As we returned to the base camp, we met some other herders and also saw a carcass of an Argali. This reminded me of the circle of life. In our Buddhist culture, we believe that each living being is important for the balance of life on earth. The herders have coexisted with wildlife for ages and sustained all life forms in the landscape. True to this belief, in the evening, all the 13 herders and the survey team met together for a cup of tea and conversation. We had recorded the highest number of Argalis in Tsaba Valley in 5 years of monitoring. I was extremely proud that the team, consisting solely of locals, conducted this robust scientific survey and could not wait to include them in future surveys.